Happy Friday, Tilray traders and investors. It's Rod with the Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today's Friday, as I mentioned. Happy Friday, March 28th. Hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to take a look at Tilray Brands chart. We're going to be discussing the bear flag, and I mentioned we did have a target of 42 cents on my last video. We'll discuss if this still is still possible, especially with the move that we had yesterday. We had finally some green in the sector. There was some news with regards to Matt Gaetz saying that rescheduling is basically imminent. And then again today, just up and down just as quickly as we went up. Sector was absolutely destroyed again today. So SPY definitely didn't help the S&P 500. We'll discuss all of that and more. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. But as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And full disclosure, I do own Tilray. It's my largest MJ portfolio holding. You can also smash like if you think I earned it today, subscribe, take the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And follow us over on X. Feel free to do that. Handle is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So this was the post that I put out yesterday from MJ Moment. Trump's first pick is AG. Says MJ rescheduling is on the horizon. I think there's a good chance that it happens or there's an announcement. Keep in mind that even if rescheduling does, become a thing, them approving rescheduling and actually starting the rescheduling process, it's going to take some time to have it enacted, right? It might be, I'm not an expert, a legal expert or anything like that. I'm 12 years short of a law degree, but it's probably going to take, in my opinion, probably 6 months, even from the announcement, maybe even a year. So maybe it's a late 2025 thing, maybe early 2026, like kind of best case scenario. But I've been a big believer for a while now that by the time we see excise tax improvement here in Canada, I don't think it's anytime soon. I don't think it's imminent. I think it's more than likely going to be a similar thing toward the end of 2025, if not in 2026. I think sometime around the time 280E goes away in the US, which would effectively happen through rescheduling to Schedule 3, then we should see improvement to excise taxes, right? It's probably going to happen around the same time because they want to keep a level playing field. And, you can't give the MSOs the upper hand, essentially, right? I think the Canadian government will be monitoring that very, very seriously. And they're two very similar issues, right? High taxes. So, a lot of people getting annoyed by this, right? We've been told one thing and we're just not seeing MJ at the forefront. But you have to remember there's bigger issues. There's wars going on. There's crypto, blockchain, AI. Every second word out of the new administration's mouth is blockchain, crypto, or AI, right? And that's understandable. Those are going to be $50 to $100 trillion industries, whereas the MJ industry is only forecasted to be at 134 billion by 2030. I think it was 134 billion by 2030. So it's really just a drop in the bucket, right? So we'll take a look at the sector today. There was a little bit of green today. We had AVCN. They actually are going to be reporting earnings on Monday. CL and Verano on the bear list, though we had CXXI, Tilray, and DB. CXXI was one of the biggest movers yesterday, but given back quite a bit of the move here today. But Tilray, getting a lot of questions about this one. Are we concerned again? Are we heading lower? You mentioned 42 cents was the bear flag target, which we still have that target in play, and we haven't gotten above 75 cents. 75 cents is key because that was the level to break from our IHS, so inverse head and shoulders. So you can see here we had our left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We did confirm the daily uptrend, which is great to see, but we basically topped out right at that key resistance at 75 cents. It's also a psychological resistance. We topped out at 73.5 cents, but it was just a daily inside bar today, so we didn't even lose yesterday's low. Not really much to worry about at this point. And we're still waiting for these EMAs to cross bullish as well. They're tightening up. More than likely going to be a week or two before we see those cross. And then the most important thing is we're still holding the daily uptrend today. So we have our low, high, higher low, and higher high. And we had a higher low here a couple days ago at 64 cents, 64 and a half cents. So as long as we hold 62 cents here, and let's say we were to pull back again on Monday, lose the low of the day on Monday, low of the day today on Monday, then we would continue daily consolidation, and then it's all about support there at 62.3 cents. Lose that, then there's a good chance that we're probably going to break down below 57 cents. And again, SPY was very weak today, so that's headwinds. If we get more weakness in the broader market, we'll want to pay attention to that. That's going to add more sell pressure to the sector, and the sector is still bearish, right? I think it's, we have 420 coming up. We could see an announcement, right? Think of the first 100 days. The promises made, promises kept theme that we have right now And it makes sense that, MJ would be mentioned last towards the end of that 100 days. So I think, what are we, 3 months in? It could be it could be in the next 2 to 4 weeks we get some sort of movement on rescheduling, right? I think rescheduling, banking, I think those are all but confirmed here in 2025, if not 2026. I think that's the low hanging fruit that they'll go after. And I mentioned this in yesterday's video, on the video that I did on Matt Gaetz, that getting rescheduling done is the pro common sense part of this new administration, right? They're very pro common sense, follow the science. So the science, clearly says it doesn't has no business being on Schedule 1. So that's the pro common sense part. Then banking, getting access to banking, bringing capital into the U.S., making the U.S. One of the leaders in terms of medicine and capital. That is the pro business side of things, which we know the new administration is very pro business, right? Creating jobs, also cutting wasteful spending. So getting rid of these crazy enforcement actions, right? The DA spending on this medicine, right? It's insane. It's absolutely ludicrous and asinine. So that's going to be the pro business side of things. And then I think an attempt to deschedule eventually. When that happens, we don't know. It could be 2 years, 4 years, who knows? But when they do attempt to legalize it at the federal level, it's more than likely going to be through Congress and descheduling, removing it from the CSA, the Controlled Substances Act. So if it does get removed from the CSA, then that would be the the American people part of the new administration, right? Giving the people what they want. And somewhere around 70 to 80% plus of people in the U.S. want it legal in some form or another, right? So that just makes sense, right? So pro common sense, pro business, pro the American people. And you can't put this genie back in the bottle, right? The cat's out of the hat. I think there's no undoing like this. It's just a matter of when, not if, right? So as of right now, we're still holding the daily uptrend. It's still a potential daily inverse head and shoulders. In order to confirm this daily inverse head and shoulders, we need to get above 75 cents. And then we just take our measured move here from the head of the IHS to the neckline, move it out to your neckline, and it said if we do confirm, the target would be around 97 cents, and then we would be back up around $1, and then if we can get it back above $1 and get reset that timer, essentially is the biggest thing, so we can avoid having to do a reverse split. Some people are saying it's going to be delisted. No way in hell that's happening, in my opinion. They have 6 months, and then they could get an extension, which is effectively a whole year. And then they could do a reverse split. So I think there's basically close to a 0% chance that they delist, right? Like maybe a 1% chance. So I don't see that as the most likely scenario. But like I said, this bear flag target, if we do lose 57 cents, then we're looking at 42 cents as the next target. We did have a bull cross on the stochastic. MACD still yet to cross bullish. I would say it's at least a couple of weeks out before we see that happen. And we're still well below all of our 10-week moving average, and then all of our weekly moving averages were well below all of those, and our daily moving averages as well. But what's more than likely going to happen, I can't really see it being, we have earnings coming up on April 8th, but I can't see, earnings doing anything. If it does, it'll probably just fade it back. Look at Aurora, had great earnings and gave the whole move back. Look at Green Thumb, it's been having amazing earnings, stellar earnings for the last forever. And the stock is down 66% since April 2024. So it doesn't matter if you're an MJ stock, doesn't matter if you're profitable, unprofitable, doesn't matter if you're a retailer, producer in the US and Canada, you're going to be absolutely destroyed, right? So until the whole sector confirms monthly uptrends in reverse, then we're just going to expect more of the same sideways, if not even another leg down. And again, we need to see a major catalyst, right? That's going to lift the whole sector simultaneously. And the only thing that I can predict here or even see happening in the short term would be rescheduling and safe banking, and not just them progressing on it, talking about it, actual concrete results. If we get 280E rescheduling happens and 280E goes away, and then once these companies start reporting earnings without 280E, it's going to be night and day. It's going to be so bullish. And then if we get excise tax improvement around the same time 280E goes away, I think that makes a lot of sense. But keep in mind, even if they do get the approval and get it rescheduled, approving it and enacting it is two very different things. So it's going to take a while, right? It's going to be at least 6 months to a year before we see any major momentum, right? Could we shoot up 200%, 300%? Yeah, but we'd still be down, 70, 80, sometimes 90% on some of these stocks, even with a 300% move or a 200% move, right? So it's all about perspective. When in doubt, zoom out. But once we get actual results, or we get safe banking pass and it actually passes, not just, getting votes and going to a floor vote or going to whatever it is, right? We need it to actually happen. And then, only then will the sector reverse, in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. Once again, happy Friday. It's Rod with Pow Group, wishing you a great weekend ahead. And thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll catch you on the next one.